Guys, before we get started, some real business, because Handsome Boys, we're going down to San Diego in what, the 19th through the 20th?
It's a week now.
Yeah, I know, a week out. So next week, we are going to be in San Diego Comic-Con, the 19th through the 22nd. And Launchpad Podcast has panels, dude. This is the top of our game.
Launchpad Podcast has two baller panels. Rumi, why don't you hit up the first panel?
All right, first panel, July 20th, 8 p.m., room 25 ABC. We have Ghostface's Killer Trivia. And dude, this is going to be so good. Like,
I just showed Rumi some of the prizes that we have for that. Straight from Ghostface himself, Roger Jackson, friend of the show. He's been on it multiple times doing Ghostface and some other characters. He is the voice of Ghostface in the Scream movie franchise. He is helping us out to do a horror movie trivia. He's going to be on the phone asking audience members in the room horror questions for their chance to win some sweet ass prizes.
Sick prizes.
We have prizes from Cavity Colors t-shirts.
Yes.
We're supposed to get prizes soon from NECA. I have prizes from 3 or 4 different venues in Los Angeles that have really nice things. All horror related merch. We have some horror comics to give away, and the stuff that Ghostface himself sent us. I don't know if we should say, we definitely have some autographs, but let's just say it's like a do-it-at-home slasher kit. Like you could be ready.
Yeah, wouldn't that be funny? In the next Scream movie, it's like Ghostface shows up and they're like, "Is your mask signed?" He's like, "So's my knife." Step. I got it from the Launchpad Podcast.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be me, Aaron, and Roger Jackson, the voice of Ghostface, asking horror questions, goofing around about horror movies with the crowd, and giving out some sweet ass prizes to see who knows
prizes. So that's
about their horror movies. Who likes scary movies? Our second one is going to be Nothing Tops Dinosaurs Attacks trading cards. This is going to be Saturday night, which is the 22nd.
Yep.
At 7:30.
7:30 p.m. in room 29 CD.
You guys have heard us talk about it multiple times on the show. These bloody 1989 Topps trading cards, graphic, disgusting, gory dinosaur cards. We are having the creator of the series, Gary Girani, on. He's going to be talking about them. I have a collector friend of mine, Greg Goldstein, who also used to run IDW Publishing, also used to work at Topps. I actually bought original card art from him. We're bringing our original card art to show. And this might be the most fun part for me is I got an actual paleontologist,
a real paleontologist,
a PhD, to come on this panel and kind of knock these cards for the scientific inaccuracies. But he seems like a fucking cool dude. I wrote him, I was like, listen, I don't know if you're familiar with these cards, but they have like herbivores, like this dinosaur eating children out of a school bus. Every kid knows that's an herbivore, and I want you to talk about the scientific nature of that. So he wrote me back and said, well, a lot of people don't realize herbivores sometimes could be carnivorous if they needed to survive, but that particular dinosaur's bones couldn't bite through the bones of a child. Oh, he says that particular dinosaur's teeth couldn't bite through the bones of a child. And I was like, that is exactly the type of shit I need you to say on the panel. So there's going to be surprises. I actually bought some original Dinosaurs Attacks still in the wrapper trading cards to hand out to kids and possibly adults in the crowd. We're going to open up packs on stage. It's going to be fucking great. And there's 1 or 2 more surprises that I have for this as well. So I'm really excited about this panel too.
These are going to be so awesome, dude. I wasn't going to be able to come because I thought I was going to be working, and then I thought I was going to be poor. And both are true. I'm not working and I'm poor. But we're making it happen. My wife is awesome and made it happen. She used her plane flight magic money, and I'm coming down there, man. We are going to be doing it up. We're going to be getting interviews, doing panels. I mean, this is top of our game, Launchpad Podcast stuff. So if you are going to San Diego Comic-Con, we will see you there. Come find us. We got our mobile podcasting perch ready to go. I've been building this awesome like tree of podcasting power that we're going to walk around Comic-Con with, doing video, doing audio. and recording the next few episodes live from San Diego. It's going to be so fucking.
I got to give Rumi mad credit. You guys have seen all the stuff on the social media that he's been posting. He has made some amazing promo art for this, turned some shit into shirts. We're going to have new business cards. So if you see us, ask us for a business card. But we're going to have a bitching banner, like a 6 foot, 7 foot tall banner that Rumi designed that's got so many nerd Easter eggs on it, as well as, like if you love us, you're going to love this banner. He made these great graphics for the Ghostface panel, as well as for the Dinosaurs Attacks panel. I'm super stoked about this. It's going to be super fun. So if you're going to be at Comic-Con, let us know. Definitely come to those 2 panels. We would love to see you guys at the panel. And if you're there and you're a listener, come up and let us know. We've befriended listeners. Fucking Brian Ivanhoe. Brian Ivanhoe's coming and helping us out with some stuff at a panel. So
we got listeners.
He was our first fan that ever came up to us. Yeah. Yeah. Now he's an employee. So yeah, come say hi, you guys. If you see us, we'll definitely be wearing Launchpad shirts and shit, walking around, and you'll see us because we'll be the handsomest, nerdiest, coolest dudes there with the biggest microphones. Not the size matters, but come say hi to us. Come nerd out with us, man. That's why we're all there. And we're psyched. I'm so excited. Rumi's coming. Rumi's killed it with all these t-shirts and promo art. So we got panels. We got some good interviews in the works, and I'm gonna nerd out all over the place. It's been a minute since I've been to a con and just fucking let my nerd hair down.
I know. Oh, I'm gonna let my hair down. Woo! All right, let's do it.
Yeah, take it out of that stupid man bun before you embarrass yourself.
No, you're gonna fucking love it, dude. You're gonna see it and be like, oh shit, yeah, because when he lets it down, it's just like sploosh. All right, enough chit chat. Let's get on with the show.
Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
All right, welcome to Launchpad Podcast. I'm Aaron.
Matt.
Matt, a little what have you been watching before we go off to Comic-Con? A little classic, chitty chatty Launchpad goodness. You've been traveling.
Yeah, I went to 3 states in the last 3 weeks. We went to South Carolina, Rhode Island, and then New Hampshire. And I did not get to watch as much shit as I wanted to or hoped to, I guess. I'm trying to think if I even watched anything.
You didn't do a family movie night?
No, it's too busy for that. And I think Amanda and Kent are definitely still, well, they're not on this schedule, but by 8, 9, 10 o'clock, they were tired. We did a couple Datelines with her sister. But even me, I did watch one shitty movie, but that was it. Otherwise, I would just put something on. I was prepping like crazy for Comic-Con, prepping crazy for, nerd art and stuff that I'm doing and, deals and shit. But I don't know, man. I stayed up super late every night, but didn't really watch. I think I was just putting on Mystery Science Theaters and shit in the background, hoping it would knock me out.
Yeah.
But I got an interesting what have you been watching for that?
We finally showed Sammy, because all she wants to watch is Frozen. And my 2-year-old's just like, I want to watch Frozen. I want to watch Frozen again. But her favorite part is the scary part with the big snowman. Where I'm like, all right, my kid likes spooky shit.
Yeah, okay, I'll take that. The kaiju.
Yeah. So then we finally are like, you're going to watch Little Mermaid. And she was like, don't want to watch it. She was arguing. And then there was a storm and a ship sank and it was on fire. And she was like, I'm scared. And we're like, it's going to be okay. Keep watching the movie. And then 5 minutes later, she's like, I want to watch the scary storm again. And then we're like, don't worry, more scary stuff's coming. And Ursula showed up and she was like, I'm scared. And we're like, it's cool though, right? And she's like, yeah, I want to watch Ursula. And we're like, yes, she's into the scary stuff. And then it's that one, those older movies do get dark, man. And I like that. I'm here for that.
I like that. It's very interesting. And for listeners who have kids in roughly this age range, 3 or 4 years old, you might see it too. It's interesting how I think as humans, we are drawn towards scary shit, right? We have a podcast that's in part dedicated to horror because we love it. And you can say that we're adults and we're obviously our entertainment and our preferences and tastes are way more developed than our kids, right? But how interesting that like our pizza tastes.
Exactly. I'm like,
The fact that Sammy and Kent as well are interested and intrigued by that darkness, by scary shit. It says a lot about human nature, I feel. And I feel like it's an interesting thing to watch because he's the same way. He's like, I'm scared of that. Can we watch that movie I just said I'm scared of? And sometimes he's flat out not scared. Like he loves Ghostbusters, not scared of any of it, has never once said anything about it being real or worried about it. But when he does get scared of shit, he does kind of like metaphorically, figuratively peek through his fingers because he kind of wants to see what's scary. That's why we go on roller coasters, right? That's why we watch horror movies. That's why when you jump out at your friend and he scares you, or vice versa, they punch you and laugh about it because it's fucking fun to be scared, right? It's a biological thrill.
Absolutely. And it's super funny to watch like a little kid work through that because they're like, I'm scared. Yeah, but rewind that so I can watch it 7 times.
Right,
And just let's put that on repeat, that same like 3-minute thing. Okay. And like, well, at least now we have a little versatility, a little diversity in our lineup because I was getting so tired of fucking Frozen, man. Jesus.
Now you're gonna get to watch the ship go down.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, at least it's
semen going down. Yeah, you love that. So we were in New Hampshire, and where my in-laws' house in New Hampshire is, if you walk down the street, which is like a gravel road, to this woodsy area, you walk through maybe 50 yards of woods and you're at a lake that has a dock and you can swim at and stuff. Kent's really into swimming now, so we did that. First time we walked through those woods, I said, Kent, every time you walk through woods like this, you have to go. And he said, why? I said, it's from a scary movie. A scary guy does it. Why does that scary guy do it? I don't know. He just does it. So you do it. Every time we walk through those woods for the rest of the trip, he went. Kent is doing the Jason noise now. Oh, also, when we were in Rhode Island, they have these giant sewer grates in the street. And when he was about 2 years old, because it was almost 2 years, it was more than 2 years ago. That's when I told him we were walking in the rain. And I shit you not, it felt like the first scene in the movie It. Yeah. So I told him, I said, look down there and say hi to Georgie. And for the rest of that trip, he did. We haven't done it in 2 years. We went for our first walk and it was sunny out. He leaned over that grate and yelled out, hi, Georgie.
See, we passed by these like raised manhole ports all over our city. And every time I pass by him, I go, oh, look, clown house. And now Sammy was like, clown house.
Can you smell the peanuts?
Smells like cotton candy to me, but I'm here for it. I watched some movies. One of them was a first time watch, and you'll be surprised at this, and probably not a first time. I'm sure I saw this at a sleepover like back in 1996 when it came out, but Eraser.
You never seen that before?
I did not remember it. Like,
it's a little surprising, but it's not. I don't think it's a staple. It's fine, but I see why you might not remember seeing it.
Directed by Chuck Russell, though, who is one of my favorite horror directors. He did the Blob remake. He did Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, which is my favorite one. So he's done a lot of stuff that I love. Eraser reminded me of what young boys playing action movie. Think FBI and it's like this is what they think witness protection is. This is what they think FBI people do. But this movie didn't seem to know what witnesses are or how witnesses work, or absolutely didn't know how witness protection works. But I also think witness protection in general, I don't know much about it. I can't say I am any better, but I do know that it's not what movies have told me it is.
Sure. Yeah.
And everyone in the world is like, well, if I'm an informant, you're going to put me in witness protection, right? And they're like, no, we put mob bosses in witness protection. We don't put your ass in witness protection. And this movie also is speaking of witnesses, hey, witness, will you go steal the evidence that we need from your boss? And it's that's not how witnesses work, man. You're supposed to get the witness yourself. Vanessa Williams is this quote unquote witness, but in the first scene we meet her in, she's stealing evidence for the FBI, which I'm like, that's not how any of this works.
It's a hands-on. That's called a valued witness. That's a protected witness. I'd protect her.
I think that's also highly illegal. But anyway, she steals some plans to a shitty CGI gun. And the FBI is like, we're going to protect you. but they don't protect you because they're terrible at their job. And her boss, James Cromwell, blows his brains out. Cool. And then
I remember that.
Arnold Schwarzenegger's there, and he's the eraser, and he like is part of the witness protection program that does like hardcore Mountain Dew witness protection to like protect the shit out of you. And he and her have to go on the run, and like James Caan is the bad guy, great bad guy.
Yeah.
And James Caan is like, hey man, we've been working together for years, right? He's like, you taught me everything I know. That's my horrible Arnold
impression. It sounds just like him. Wait, that was Arnold? I thought that was James Caan.
James Caan would be like, hey, I got shot a bunch and they kicked that cigarette out my mouth. Yeah. No, I don't know. I don't know what any of those guys sound like. I'm getting rusty.
Oh my God.
But yeah, James Caan plays a great bad guy in it. There's an awesome scene where Arnold like jumps out of an airplane without a parachute. Very Point Break. And the plane like comes charging after him. I thought that scene was cool. And then there's a scene at a zoo where a bunch of puppet alligators mixed with CGI alligators attack some dudes. That's fucking great.
It was a great scene.
Yeah, great scene. So it has some things going for it, but overall it's like pretty goofy. Like none of it's believable, but you're like, it's fine.
So it's funny that you bring this up because this is a great example. I just had those memes about like when someone asks you to explain the different lightsaber colors in Star Wars or something, and it shows like someone asking a nerd like us a question that they don't realize is a 45-minute long explanation. I had a friend who was like, I don't get, like, she's never seen Jaws. And she was like, I don't get, like, what's the big deal? I was like, Jaws is, in my mind, one of the most perfect movies. And I always say that Jaws is the movie that I would show an alien that came down and said, what is a great example or one of the best examples of American cinema? There are definitely better movies. There are definitely movies I like more. But Jaws, in my mind, as a product of the American film system, there's just so many things to point at to say, this is great, this is great, this is great. Like, I might want to live in a beautiful house that I think looks bitchin' and cool and is in a cool place, but it might not be the best house that I've ever seen, but that's the house that I like. Jaws is kind of like that. It's just, there's so many things in it that you can learn filmmaking from. And I think there's so much going on. I get goosebumps multiple times watching that movie, and I've seen it God knows how many times, you know? And I'm going to give you a 45-minute explanation. But like, I ran into this with her, and she was like, but so what though? Like, who cares? And I was like, I said, it's not your average popcorn summer movie. And she was like, well, what do you mean by a popcorn movie? And I was saying like Avengers.
Away. I would have just walked the fuck away.
No, because she was giving me the time. She was interested to hear what I had to say.
But it's the original popcorn blockbuster. Like it's
correct. And
OG blockbuster.
I got into that. I was like, it changed the way that movies were made. It definitely changed the way that they were distributed and released. But she was like, what do you mean by a popcorn movie? And I was like, a popcorn movie is a movie that has a beginning, a middle, and end. It's satisfying enough. It's a fun journey. It's like going on a roller coaster. But when you get off, you're not like thinking about the roller coaster. You're just ready for another roller coaster, right?
It's a popcorn movie is just a movie that you have an excuse to eat popcorn in. It's a vehicle to get popcorn into your mouth.
It literally is a popcorn movie.
It does not matter what the movie is, as long as you're eating popcorn, you're like, I will be satisfied.
Well, it's just like, I feel like it's a disposable experience, right? It's like, to use the Fight Club analogy, it's a single serve movie.
Yeah.
We don't walk out of a popcorn movie, go to Hooters and like dissect it and talk about it and say, can you believe? We high five over the cool action scenes, but that's it. And I feel like Eraser's a good one because what scenes do you really spend time talking about at Hooters? The alligator scene? I would say the rail guns.
Freaking cool.
The rail guns were cool guns, and I like the damage they do, and I like the design of the guns. But it's no X-ray pulse rifle, right? Yeah. It's nothing. There's nothing to distinguish that from Collateral Damage, or I mean, it's a little better than Collateral Damage or The Sixth Day. You know, it's better than those, but like they get lost in the shuffle of everything else. You don't need to rewatch them. You don't need to own them on DVD. Those to me are like popcorn movie. It's like, you know what? I have 2 hours of Arnold Schwarzenegger blowing shit up with Vanessa Williams. Done. And I know, like, the movie's like, listen, this is what this is going to be. I'm telling you that from the start. You're like, okay. They're like, you want character development? Go somewhere else. You want a reveal at the end that's really going to make you think? Go somewhere else. This Christopher Nolan is not directing popcorn movies. You know what I mean?
Well, speaking of Christopher Nolan, you ready for Oppenheimer, Matt? Do you care about Oppenheimer?
I don't know if I care, but Christopher Nolan, I like as a storyteller, and I'll see anything he does, and he's done plenty that I liked and plenty that I don't like. But he's earned enough cred.
The stuff you don't like, still good though, right? Just
correct.
Not yours.
Absolutely, it's a good movie. It's made really well, and that's why it's not worth. Like Tarantino is the opposite of that. Tarantino is a love-hate. The stuff of his that I do not like, I do not like. He's still a competent filmmaker, but it's enough to be a turn off. I'm not turned off by any of Nolan's stuff.
Sure.
But Oppenheimer, it looks like an interesting story. I like what's-his-face's character, the way he's portraying him. He really seems like, just from the snippets, seems pretty good. Will I go see it in theaters? No, probably not.
I definitely want to see it in theaters. But here's the funny thing. The other day, my wife was like, "Are you excited for Oppenheimer?" I'm like, yeah. But here's something super weird. And you're going to laugh, but that's part of the joke. I am more interested, not excited, interested in Barbie.
Fair. Okay, I can see that.
Because here's the thing. Take the Barbie out of it.
Mm-hmm.
We're presented with Oppenheimer. Guaranteed it's good. I know that those 3 hours are going to be a good movie. Or Boogans. Or Chopping Mall.
Sure.
Something that is like, I don't know if that's going to be good, but it has a chance to impress me. Oppenheimer doesn't have a chance to impress me because it already has. I'm like, it's going to be Christopher Nolan. He dropped a fucking bomb to make that movie. I am already like, yep, that's going to be great. You can't surprise me with that movie. If Barbie's actually good, holy cow.
I love
you came from behind and won that race. You have a better chance of impressing me with Barbie than Oppenheimer, because Oppenheimer is already like, yeah, that's probably good.
I love the idea of that perception, that frame of thought for you on a dating app. You're like, wow, this girl is gorgeous. She has a PhD. She loves Star Wars. I already know what I'm getting into. But this girl looks weird. Here's a picture of her shaving her cat, and it says that she only has 9 toes. I don't know where this is going, but I'm rooting for the underdog here. Let me text Bertha.
I am absolutely going to root for the underdog film every time, because, like, think about it. You come out of Oppenheimer, you're going to be like, yep, that's exactly what I expected.
Sure.
The only way it can surprise me is if it lets me down. Whereas Barbie, if it lets me down, I'm like, I went and saw a movie called Barbie. What did I expect? If it's good, you're like, no, guys, hear me out. Hear me out. It's actually
That's
funny.
Like a huge fucking...
Right?
Like, it's prophetic almost, like the way, like, because you're right, and that works for a million movies, right?
A million movies. This is why I like shitty movies better than good movies half the time. Because you go to a good movie. If I spend $14 to go see, now it's like I'm in the $30 range. Who am I kidding? If I spend $30 to go see a movie and it's supposed to be good, like it's been getting good reviews and it sucks, I have been let down and I'm out money. But if I put on a shitty movie at home and it's like actually half good, I am way more pleased with that choice than the good movie that I went and saw and it wasn't as good as I had hoped. You have to. If I pay $30 for anything, it has to be fucking great. So
you're right, because like I saw Spider-Verse, the new Spider-Verse movie, and I liked it a lot.
Great,
but
it's really cool.
It was what I thought it was going to be. You're right, because it didn't. It kind of landed in the zone, in the framework of my expectations. So it kind of was uneventful because it didn't surprise me or anything.
The first time you saw the first one, though, you were surprised at how fucking good
absolutely.
That
it was not the same reaction, even though this movie was maybe not any worse, right? Does that make sense? Like that's essentially what you're saying. The movie might be as good, but because I already had the expectations that it would be in that realm, you walk out of the movie like,
Because here's the thing. Seeing Spider-Verse 2, I walked out being like, I'm so glad that movie didn't dip.
Sure,
I'm so glad that movie was on par. If not, certain parts of it, character-wise, I thought were better, but on par. It towed the line, and I was more relieved than enthralled. Whereas if I go see something that people are like, boo, this is gonna suck, and then it's like actually super entertaining and I had a good time, like I'm gonna be more like Crank 2. Like
right. Yeah.
that movie can't be good, right? Oh, actually halfway through the movie he turns into a giant kaiju and smashes some shit. Movie isn't good, but I had a better time at Crank 2 than when I went and saw Candyman, and I was like, yeah, that was a good movie, but like real serious and like, you know.
And
like
essentially what you're saying is it's the difference between rating the movie and rating the experience, right? Because you could watch a great movie, but it's not a great experience, or vice versa. Yeah. And I guess when you watch a movie that you think is a good movie and the experience is also great, yeah, I guess is like the best, right? That's the Venn diagram of like the best type of movie, right?
I definitely like when I saw 1917, you know, that big one take.
Yeah.
It was a good experience. My wife liked it, which is always helps when you know you go with your partner and they're like, "Oh, that movie was good." And you're like, "I thought it was good too." Great. And you have something to talk about. Like that was a great movie experience and a good movie. So like overall that gets a better score. Like when we went and saw The Room and I had never seen The Room before, man, that movie's terrible. I do not like that movie. But when I saw that in a movie theater with people screaming and throwing shit at the screen, I was on board for that experience. And that's one of the best movie going experiences I've ever had because the audience brought me along. I know you tried to make me watch the movie beforehand. I was like, no, this is terrible. I couldn't handle it.
You're right, because terrible. I immediately bought 1917 on Blu-ray because it, like, what a great film. Do you know how many times I've watched it on Blu-ray?
Zero.
Yeah. And I it's not that I can't, but it's like, if I have 3 hours, do I want to spend it doing that? Or do I want to, like, I would watch 3 hours of Chopping Mall before 1917, and Chopping Mall isn't the movie that 1917 is, but it's more enjoyable to sit there and watch than 1917, right?
I have more fun, laughing at Chopping Mall. I would rather watch Miami Connection any day of the week than pop on, I don't know, some other Oscar-winning film. What Moonlight? I don't know, something. Let's just trying to pick some random Oscar winner. Yeah, Moonlight, great movie. Fantastic, great, good acting, great story. But like, that's why we are who we are. That's why I own fucking Miami Connection. Paid way too much for that Blu-ray.
Right. Yeah.
Don't own very many Oscar winners.
I get it. That's interesting. How funny. I guess part of on an academic level, and I'm pushing it, but on an academic level, this podcast is really good because it gets us to think about things like that. Whereas like you come out of a movie and you have feelings, but you don't necessarily explore them. It's really cool to figure out like why we like certain things, why we don't like certain things. Same thing as talking about the kids liking horror, right? Like we don't really think about as a society why we like dark shit. Me and Amanda watch murders on Dateline because it's fucking interesting and it's taboo and it's dark and it is a little scary. And sometimes that little spice completes the circle, you know what I mean, of your experiences. It's pretty interesting. But yeah.
So that's why I'm more intrigued by Barbie. Take the pink Barbie doll. You can take all that out of it. That obviously that's what appeals to me.
I was going to say, take it out of the movie and put it in your room, put it on your shelf and in your bed. You're a Barbie girl in a Barbie world.
So fantastic. But still, like, I'm more intrigued by the possibility of that being funny, good, or interesting. I can't even tell you what the take of that movie is, but that movie might be more fun, might be a bigger thrill. So I'm more intrigued by that than Oppenheimer, which I'm already like, yeah, it'll be fantastic. Guarantee you, I will be like, whoa. Film school nerd.
I do think it's crazy, and you know me, I'm not on social media a lot.
Yeah,
but the only one I check for myself personally is for Facebook, and I don't really spend a lot of time on there. But even in my limited viewing, social media seems to love to compare those two movies.
Well, because they come out like the same week. Yeah.
But like, there's been other movies that are very different and also have buzz at the same time that have not been directly compared in so many memes and fan art and this and that. It's like everybody's real excited about that week,
I think it's just also because they're such contrasting movie. Here you have this thing that is literally like vapid bubblegum trying to portray this like, I'm Barbie back to Oppenheimer, which is like Christopher Nolan must be so mad. And that kind of also makes me like happy. Like, I think that's hysterical. Not that I want Christopher Nolan to not be happy, but I love the idea of some super pretentious director being like, Barbie. Like,
you know, it'd be super cool. I just recently saw it was an anniversary of one of the movies, and I saw someone posted a like newspaper article or newspaper ad that Steven Spielberg took out to congratulate George Lucas on one of the Star Wars movies beating Jaws' box office. Yep. And it was R2-D2 with a fishing pole.
Yep.
And it was, you know, in the realm of using galaxy puns and water puns and shark puns. I want to see, after these movies debut, whichever one concedes victory to the other, I want to see that letter, that in context, in universe's letter from Barbie tipping Barbie's hat to Oppenheimer or vice versa. How fucking funny would that be?
Or just Oppenheimer dropping a bomb on Barbie. Oh my God. What if Oppenheimer actually, I already know it's making bazillion dollars in pre-sales, but like, what if Oppenheimer literally bombs and they have to like all the jokes that come out about the movie about a bombing?
Oh, you got to think critics are waiting, right?
Oh, right, dude. So some critics like he's like when you play craps, like he's betting against the dice roller.
Right.
So he's like, and he's just putting all these jokes in the chamber. He is loading his joke gun with a bunch of like, looks like this bomb didn't ignite or excite. Like he is just backing them. And like when the box office comes out and it's like made bazillion dollars, he's just gonna be like, put that joke gun right in his mouth.
It's like, I'll troll. Yeah. Well.
Well, that's a mean joke. Anyway, what else did you watch, Remy? What did you watch?
So I didn't, well, like I said, I didn't watch as much. I read a few comics, but nothing super amazing. I finally finished Attack on Titan, and I had like a great, awesome battle at the end. But like, it just gets so fucking surreal for me. I just want to see the giants and the vertical maneuvering gear. But it's lovely and I love it. And it feels like an epic. It was 32 trades. I'm glad I finally finished it. But I read a novel that I've read multiple times before, but I haven't read it in a while. It was nice to do that because I don't usually do that. I don't have the time. Do you remember, probably high school, but let's say throughout your young schooling career, not really college, but before college, do you remember reading a novel for class that you had to read, that you were like, fuck, this is actually pretty good, and you got into it and you liked it?
I always I hated being forced to read things.
I bet.
Like, I hate it. It turned me off of reading big time because our teachers,
most of it do, but most of us do hate being forced. But like you have like at least you have some sort of dyslexia, right? And I know that you're like, it's hard for you to read things sometimes.
Well, it's hard to read fast. But my biggest issue is like, they'd be like, well, what do you think this means? And it's like, I think this means this. No, it means this. Okay, well, we can't even talk about that. No. And it's like, they would just turn you off to cool things. Like, you know, and here's the other problem. My school had us read the same books over and over again. So in like 7th or 8th grade, they were like, we're reading Treasure Island. I'm like, I read Treasure Island when I was like 5.
Sure, yeah.
As soon as I could read, I was like, I want the book with the pirates. And our family read it together. Like we take turns. You know, here I am, donkey reading, 2 or 3 words at a time. And then my parents would read a whole chapter to us. And we read Treasure Island that way. We read Frankenstein that way. Jules Verne that way. And that's how I learned how to read super young. Our family would read together. So by the time I'm in 7th grade, I'm reading fucking Jurassic Park. I'm reading Jaws.
Yeah, same.
I'm reading Stephen King. And they're like, let's read Treasure Island. I'm like, cool. I like that book, but I read that when I was like a baby. And I'm like, all right, well, we're going to read it. Okay, we get through it. We overanalyze the shit out of it. And I'm like, it's really not that deep. There's pirates and, yeah, the guy missing a leg means something. Who gives a fuck? And then we read, I had already read Huck Finn or whatever.
Yeah.
Then we get to high school and they're like, okay, we're going to read Huck Finn and then we're going to read Treasure Island. I'm like, I literally just read those last year. And then you get somewhere else, you get to college and they're like, okay, we're going to be analyzing a classic Treasure Island. I'm like, I'm so fucking, I read that Like, can we pick different books for once? Like, let's get away from the same old bullshit books. Like, please let us pick.
I never had to read Treasure Island, not even one time.
Yeah, my wife didn't either. That's all we ever read. It was Treasure
But I hear
Island
you about Huck Finn and Tom Sawyer, all that shit. And same with you. I was reading Jurassic Park. I read Jurassic Park like when it came out. I don't know what year that was, but what year was it, right?
Yeah.
And Stephen King like crazy. But there was a couple books like Crime and Punishment. I remember I didn't read because it was fucking tome and I was doing sports and this and that. But I remember reading the Cliff Notes and being like, wow, this is a book I'd like to come back to. There was a book that I don't remember what the trip was. It might have been a skiing trip, but we went on a family vacation with another family.
Yeah.
And I remember on the drive home, remembering / verbalizing, oh shit, I have to read this novel from school by tomorrow. And my mom was pissed. And they were like and my mom, like my parents were not like, oh, we'll help you through it like they did with my fucking sister. They read books for my sister and told her what to write in book reports. That's not a lie. So if anyone's getting operated on right now in North Carolina in my sister's emergency room, good luck with that. She did not read Treasure Island. But I remember reading this book on the way home, and it was a short book, and it's called After the First Death by Roger Cormier, who I knew nothing about the book when I opened it. I was just like, I think I could probably nail this during the 2-hour, 3-hour drive home, and then tonight. It's fucking fantastic. It is about a hostage situation on a bridge by unknown terrorists. We never find out where they're from. And the book is told through 3 different trains of thought. The first is it sits in the now. There is a boy at a military school who talks about a hole through his chest. And he is waiting for his father, who's a general, to come. And there's trepidation for that. And it's all about leading back to this bridge. Then they talk about this other boy who's relatively the same age, but he is literally a terrorist. And there is a older man terrorist who's kind of like a father figure to him. They end up taking over a school bus full of 5-year-olds, poisoning them with candy to get them to like just go to sleep. Yeah, Rumi's face, if you're not watching the YouTube, Rumi's eyebrows just went up. That's like within the first 25 pages. And I was like, what? They pull this bus onto the bridge, so they have a strategic advantage that nobody can get to the bus. One of the kids dies from the poison candy. It's supposed to be a sedative, but he either has a weak heart or he's allergic to it. He dies. So automatically, within the first 20, 30 pages, there's a dead kid. And I'm like, you're making me read this in high school? Go on. The young boy has a gun, and his job is to kill the bus driver. But when they raid the bus, it's a different bus driver than they thought it was going to be. So it changes the plan. It's a young girl. So then we are introduced to her, and the story is told through her eyes at certain points. It's fantastic. Now, it's a young adult novel. And again, apparently Roger Cormier has done a lot of these, and he's lauded for this kind of young adult fiction that's relevant to the times and stuff. And this is a very timeless book. They don't specifically say who it is or what. These guys are fighting in their minds to reclaim their homeland. They're ready to kill children and themselves for it. It takes you inside not specific ideologies, but a very vague ideology. And there's a couple times where the bus driver, who's a white American girl, talks to this dark-skinned foreigner, and their two life experiences are just so different. It's very, very interesting. Spoiler alert, big spoiler alert. So if you care to read this, maybe don't listen to this part, but every once in a while we cut back to the now, where it is the son of the general remembering this, and every once in a while it's the general at this school looking for his son, and they keep missing each other. They keep literally being in the same room moments after each other, and they can't find each other. The general finds the son's notes, and we learn that the general sent his son in to the hostage situation as a neutral messenger. So as like a preteen, this kid goes in there. He ends up getting shot. The general feels bad about it. And at the end of the book, it's revealed that the kid died. Well, it's not revealed. It's very much implied that the kid dies, and the general essentially has like super guilt about it to the point where he's in a home and is essentially doing both personalities, of warring personalities in his head over the guilt. It's really, really interesting. And you and I have seen a million movies like this, and we've seen this type of story a bunch of times. But as what would I have been, 16? Maybe 15, 16-year-old kid reading this for school. It's like the moment where your dad's like, hey, man, let's watch Terminator tonight because your mom's not here. And you're like, what? It felt like that for school, which happens so rarely. And I remember burning through that book and being so into whatever assignment we had to do that I now have purchased like multiple copies of it. And it was a cool thing to check out. So it was kind of fun to read that. And if like you said, you don't have to read it fast, but I think it's like 270 pages or something, which for me is a pretty quick read. It was cool. And I meant to look up if they've made a movie about it. I don't know if it would hit as well as a movie, but it would be an interesting movie.
See, that's the thing. Like I used to be able to burn through, like when I got to the right point and I had tutoring for a while, I could burn through books. Like I would read a Goosebump book in a day, no problem. Like in an afternoon, I would burn through a Goosebump book. That sounds really interesting. And it's like a lot of times though, like the young adult novels, they're a little more clear with their messaging. And sometimes it's a little more effective because it's like a movie where a movie's like, get it? These are the bad guys. And you're like, I get it. There's a young adult series. My teacher's an alien. My teacher fried my brains. My teacher glows in the dark. My teacher flunked the planet. Bruce Koval, I believe. And I thought they were such cool books as a kid. And like they put on some really pretty deep, like what starts as like, oh, whoa, my teacher's an alien, like a kid's version of The Faculty. By the end is like, do human beings even have the right to exist in a intergalactic society, or are we too barbaric and we should be destroyed because we're idiots who will destroy ourselves anyway? And like that's what it ends with. It starts with like a fun little like sci-fi romp and then ends with the kids having to convince the aliens that like no, human beings deserve to live and strive, and you shouldn't reset us by just destroying the planet. But like yeah, it's a very Dr. Manhattan question, I was like, man, that's heavy stuff. And I like how heavy some books got like that. Now, when you go and read, when you read, those classic tomes like War and Peace and stuff like that, it's like, it's all allegory or. Yeah.
I guess it's cool when you say, like you said, it's, they don't bury the messages, the symbolism, or the subtext. They don't bury it as deep because, theoretically as a young adult, you don't have the shovel you need to dig that far down. Yeah. But it does make it more accessible and enjoyable. And I guess, like you said, talking about like the Dr. Manhattan question at the end of that book or the end of that series, that's a great topic for kids, young adults to debate about. And like you said, you don't need that much to dig, that much layers to dig through to get to that. It kind of sets them up for a good conversation or a good paper or a good whatever, which is pretty cool. And I like that. And I feel like this book was one of those, like, it's like, I don't want to say popcorn book because it's not a popcorn book. It does make you think, but it's quick. I can burn through it very fast. It's something anything I've read before, I could read faster, but it's also very general, so it fits. Like I think it was. Oh, that's the other thing. I think it was written in 1978. Whoa. So think about what was going on politically and throughout the world at the time.
A lot of hostage situations.
For sure. And actually, like in the 70s, that was the birth of some types of terrorism, or at least I guess the publicity of certain types of terrorism. Yeah. So that makes a big deal. And in the book, they say we need to take a stand against this because we need people who would take hostage and wouldn't do terror to understand we are not going to negotiate. We need to set that policy now, which I feel like we grew up in a society where we knew that theoretically the U.S. does not negotiate with terrorists.
Oh, yeah.
And like, that's been made a statement that's been made what's the word? A process,
policy.
Yeah, that's a policy. So it's interesting to see. That's the only thing that kind of dates that idea, because there could be a bus of hostages today that this thing would play out just like this. So it's pretty interesting. It was a good little read to pick, and I could pick up and put it down.
Yeah, something you just said that I want to touch on. You said as an adult, you have the shovel to dig that deep into a story. And it just made me realize something about like another reason why, bad teachers or dealing with teachers that didn't know how to bring you along a literary journey is like, here's a very adult and difficult book, but I'm told that you're old enough to understand it. So I'm going to dig the hole for you and then throw the shovel at your face and flunk you if you don't understand why that hole's there. And you're like, but we haven't worked up to this. We haven't read anything or everything else we've been doing. You're just telling me what the allegory is. Isn't it better when you read something, you're like, I understand that allegory? Like when you're forced to it, forced to dig the ditch, forced to sit there, and then if you don't understand it or you're not following along, they flunk you. Like, again, it's just never felt like you earned the books or you earned the experience of reading those books.
I get that.
Like,
that makes sense. It would, what would be interesting is to talk to a kid now who's that age, or doing that stuff now, and see if they're being taught differently than we are. Because I can tell you, as a elementary school teacher, there's a new school of thought, or it's not new today. It's been new for a while, but it's called productive struggle, where instead of me as a teacher give you the thing you need to access the lesson, I see what you could do first. So like, for example, if we're going to talk about addition, I don't say, okay, guys, if I had 3 apples and then had another 3 apples and put them together, I have 6 apples now, right? You guys with me? Okay, that's addition. That's giving you everything. The newer school of thought is to give you some sort of problem, a practical problem, almost like an experiment that you have to figure out. And essentially you're using addition without realizing that's what it is or that's what it's called. Then we do that. And then I talk about it with you. Hey, tell me about it. When you just were putting those apples together, what did you realize? Well, I realized I had some, and then some more came, and then I had more at the end. Oh, great. You realize that that's called addition. Now, here's the actual facts and the plus sign and all the shit that you didn't know about. I'll teach you that, and we work on it together. So it's interesting. I wonder now, because I agree with you where like, I don't feel as aggressive and violated as you seem to feel about like them throwing the shovel and stuff at me. But you're right. When you read that book, they're like, this means this and this means that. And I don't really remember any conversations, at least that I was a part of, where I was like, do you think the bus means hope? And the teacher was like, no. But like, what a terrible fucking thing to say, because everybody that interprets a piece of art or a piece of entertainment should be able to interpret it. Like that should warrant its own conversation, even if they don't agree with you. Like it's one thing for a teacher to be like, hey, young adult, I don't agree with that, but I can understand you say that because you backed it up with this. That's an interesting take. Let's talk more about that.
I also just feel like how we were taught, a lot of the schools we went to, or at least how I grew up being taught, not for my family. My family was a little more nurturing on that end. Is like, also, if you don't get this right, if you don't parrot back to me what I told you, I'm going to flunk you. And then you're not going to go to college. You're going to be flipping burgers. And it's like, oh God, oh no. So it's like
the burgers represent despair.
There's a lot of fucking pressure on to understand some pretty heavy allegory that a lot of adults don't get.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, I'm told you're supposed to be old enough to understand this. But it's like, can we go into like, can we work up to this stuff? Or are you just going to throw us in the deep end? I'm going to throw you in the deep end. And if you can't swim, you'll fucking get an F. Those burgers are calling.
It's interesting. And even though I'm teaching 5-year-olds, which is different, and now Kent is 4, Kent asks a lot of questions. He's starting to ask a lot about death. My kids at school will ask about God and religion sometimes. And you got to be, especially when it's not your kid, right? You got to be careful. But I always try to leave shit open for interpretations. So like religion, God, holidays, I will always be like, some people feel this way. And I try to keep religion vague, right? But I feel like if I was teaching books, like if I was teaching War and Peace, I wouldn't be like, this represents this and this represents that. Like some people think this, some people think that. But as a teacher, it would get me jazzed if you as a student said some shit that I didn't think about, even if I thought it was wrong. If you could say, I think the bus represents hope because of blah, 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 and that's what it meant to you, how fucking cool. You took the text that I gave you and accessed something from it, right? Yeah. It might not be what I thought you were going to. And maybe the curriculum dictates that I have to tell you that the bus represents peace and not hope. But like, okay, we could talk about that and say, hey, anything can represent anything, right? What did you take from it? If that spoke to you, I would be so jazzed that a student was having that conversation with me at all. You know what I mean?
Although I guess I will say this, I read Jaws when I was way too young. I was probably in fourth grade when I read Jaws, and I knew that I suddenly was reading the book and I was like, yeah, it's not really about a shark. Jaws represents a dick.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a page turner for you. Your dyslexia had no problem reading that frontwards and backwards.
Yeah, no, the shark represents Chief Brody's fragile masculinity. He's like super nervous about his wife cheating on him with Hooper, and the shark is a big representation of that. I've picked up on that, so I guess it works. Wow, let's just like oppressively teach our children with lots of pressure. That works. They'll at least understand Jaws. Well, I watched another movie that was interesting. I interested to find out how you feel about this one. Lethal Weapon. I'd seen this before. You know, it's a Christmas classic. But Lethal Weapon, 1987. Richard Donner, written by Shane Black, obviously starring Mel Gibson and Danny Glover. He's too old for this shit when he turns 50. He was 40 when he played the role. God damn. I'm too old for this.
Yeah, I know. I feel, yeah. God, my back is going to hurt the rest of the day just having heard that.
I know. The funny thing about that movie is I feel it's like one of those blueprint films that sort of changed the paradigm of that cop movie, the buddy cop movie. I don't know if it's the first buddy cop movie, but it became the paradigm. There's before Lethal Weapon, and then there's after Lethal Weapon. And watching it now, it's such a cliche, but you're like, I'm pretty sure that this was not the first to do this, because even in the 80s, there had been film noir, which is the hard luck detective genre, and, you know, hard luck criminal genre. And this movie, I think, sort of packaged all of those cliches together and like put a stamp on it and made it a very accessible 80s package.
You mean with a giant bush? Is that what you're saying?
And covered in cocaine. But yeah, Lethal Weapon, it's a classic for a reason. I don't know if I need 4 of those movies, but it's funny to watch it because it's so cliche now, but you're like, it was sort of the paradigm of its time and has spawned so many spin-offs that now I'm like, I've seen this a million times. They're like, well, actually, this was the first time we did it, but now it just feels cliche, which is hysterical.
Well, it's interesting because, like you said, it might not have been the first time, but it certainly was the best time up to that point, right?
Sure.
So even if you could name something that was before, this was done so well, publicized so much, seen so much that it certainly became the trope, right? Everything else after that was derivative from this in a sense. It's interesting that you mentioned film noir. I'd love to discuss the evolution of that, of film noir to something like Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
When you use the term buddy cop movie, I'm pretty sure that term only applies to comedy, right? You wouldn't really call a buddy cop if it was a serious movie or an action movie. Action movies are a little comedic and it's just in their excessiveness, if not in their writing. But buddy, to me, at least to me, I'll say to me,
yeah,
buddy to me implies that the two cops have witty banter between the two of them. That's what makes it a buddy, right? Me and you are buddies. We fucking joke around and stuff.
100%. No, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
And I think that Shane Black dialogue is so beautiful in everything he does, right? But certainly in that movie, in most of what he does, maybe not The Predator, but in many of his movies, certainly in Nice Guys, I loved, and in Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, I could read those scripts and be entertained, by the dialogue.
Those are fantastic, though. But yeah,
but I think Lethal Weapon is very similar in that, and like you said, it was groundbreaking, at least at the time, for setting that these two guys are on a stakeout together. They are apples and oranges. They are worlds apart. They love each other. They hate each other. They work together. How does that conversation in that car go? And I think that's the difference between the film noir and the buddy cop is we're goofing around now. People are getting killed. There's murders. We're investigating murders. There's danger. And I guess it is a real threat, a real danger, as opposed to like a cartoony threat. But at the same time, we're having a good time with this. This is fun. This is a fun thing. Then like at the end, when they have those fight scenes at the end, you are concerned and I think you're feeling for the characters. But yeah, you Riggs and Murtaugh, I'll listen to those two all day. I don't know if I've ever seen the fourth one, but I would. I'm sure it would be what I think it is, but the first one it's fantastic, and it's a great movie for dialogue, I think.
It absolutely is. I mean, you got Gary Busey in there being crazy, always fantastic. Love me some Tom Atkins. So yeah, it's got some good stuff in it. It's a classic for sure, for a reason, you know.
Yeah.
That's why people come back to it. Not that action packed, and yeah, it's a weird genre though, for sure. But the chemistry is worth it, for sure, 100%.
And I think that's also one of those genres that worked best at a certain time, late, mid 80s to late 90s, when you could get away with certain things in a movie that you just can't do now. And I feel like that worked very well for that genre of buddy cop, because you could have it be excessively action, gory, even scary at times. You could have him hitting on and trying to date Murtaugh's underage daughter.
Yeah.
You know, and I guess Bad Boys did something very similar. But yeah, that's a good movie. That's a movie for me personally, like Back to the Future, where it's great. I know it's great, but I don't usually think about it. And then when my attention gets drawn back, I'm like, oh shit, I should go back and rewatch that.
The issue is, it's only an hour and 49 minutes. It feels like a 2.5 hour movie.
It does for sure. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
It kind of drags, and it goes all over the place. But like you said, it really fits the 80s well, because back in the 80s, like, cops were heroes and cocaine was rampant. So everybody was like, like every time something rad happens, like a saxophone's like, and you're like, fuck yeah.
There's nothing more 80s than a saxophone solo during a hard moment in a buddy cop film, right?
I know, right? Exactly. And I'm here for that. That definitely works well. But like, you know, we live in a time now where it's like, I don't know, a buddy cop movie just doesn't seem to fit. Like, even as a genre, it's hard to get on board with that, you know? Because as a society, like, I don't know why it's easier to cheer for a cop who's like going outside the rules and like being crazy then, but now you're like, because we've seen it play out in real time. But it, like, I don't know, now it just doesn't hit the same way.
I wonder if that's because of topical things, or because Hollywood's just producing the same shit over. And I'm not saying that I believe this, but Hollywood's producing the same shit over and over without putting the nuances in it that you need to make a successful buddy cop movie, you know?
Right. Like, wow, you got some funny zingers, great. But like, is the cliche played out?
Right.
Where it's like, if you set it in the 80s, is it a period piece? Does it work? Does it only work when you have saxophone raring through a cop chase? Like, is that,
you know what, for me, I'm thinking, I just watched some Netflix movie with Ryan Gosling recently. I forget what it was, but he was an action guy. He was like a wet works killer, and then they go after him. It's a movie you've seen 1,000 times. He was very witty. He fights Chris Evans, who plays a mustache twirling bad guy. Great job. They have amazing back and forth funny jokes. I don't care about either of the characters. I cared about Riggs. That he, lost his family, his wife, and he was literally crazy. He was unhinged, but you loved him for that underdog quality and for that innocence that was broken and stolen from him that made him the way he is. He also loves Murtaugh and Murtaugh's family, and he believes in what he's doing.
Right.
I root for that character. Ryan Reynolds' character was just a character. He did a great job. There was nothing wrong with it, but I didn't care. I didn't care about anything that he did. And maybe that's me. Maybe I've just seen 40 years of movie and I'm done caring. But like, that's missing. Murtaugh, you wanted him to retire. You wanted him to have a peaceful life with his family. Every time Riggs pulled him into some bullshit, you were like, ugh, Murtaugh's not going to like this. It was fun. You know what I mean? You were invested in these characters.
And it's probably because of that scene that's in the movie where they build a little bit of character, but it doesn't really help the movie. But you come away being like, I understand a little bit more about that character. And it's like when you have that, like in the new Spider-Man movie, there's an entire rooftop party scene that doesn't really move the plot, but we learn about what the characters' desires are for themselves, for their families. And I think in most movies, some producer goes, cut that out. It's dragging here.
Mm-hmm.
But then like you have these movies with characters that don't really have impact, you know?
Yeah. And I think that's going back to what I said at the top, towards the top of the episode about Jaws and popcorn movies. I was trying to explain the person I was talking to, my friend Callista, she does not like horror movies. And I was like, because you don't like horror movies, you might not like Jaws at all. Even though I don't say Jaws is a horror movie, it's got horror-ish. She's like, it's Killer Shark movie. I don't get it. I was like, it's not. It's this amazing drama with these characters who go like essentially three men go on three similar but different journeys. And I said, character A's interaction with character B is different than character A's interaction, which is different than C. And B and C interact completely differently than any of those. And I said, you don't usually get that in horror, which just makes Jaws that much more important. That movies. Yeah. What is the movie about? A killer shark. But it's about these guys' journey together and also individually and what they do with and for each other. I think that's fucking fantastic and phenomenal. The shark is only part of the film, and it's not necessarily important.
He's only the catalyst. He's not the plot.
And I tried to explain. I said, there's so many shark horror movies that are just a shark killing people. That's not what Jaws is about. And I feel like there are so many action cop movies that are about the rogue cop, maybe even a rogue cop and his partner, but it's not about the relationship like Lethal Weapon is about their relationship. Lethal Weapon is about those two cops doing all those things together. Sometimes one cop pulls the other cop in, and it's that Samurai Champloo thing of you're from two completely different worlds. Now you're in the same situation together. How do you handle it as individuals, but also how do you handle it as a group? And that's what Jaws is about, right?
Yeah, 100%, man. One of my favorite parts of, a funny part of Lethal Weapon is at the beginning of the movie, it's Murtaugh's 50th birthday, and his family bursts in while he's in the tub, and they like bring him a cake and like talk to him. And everybody just acts like this is normal. It's like, it's not even a bubble bath. You guys,
Dad's 50-year-old junk is just flopping around in the water there.
Floating in the water.
Happy birthday, Dad.
He's like, your beard's turning gray. I like it. His daughter says that. I'm like, don't look down. Don't.
Yeah.
Just eyes up here, kid. Fucking awkward. Super funny though. But yeah, it was cool to see. It's interesting. I don't know if I say it holds up, but it definitely, you can tell that it is a genre knot that everything comes to it and it splinters.
I would say that foundationally important. Like if you haven't seen Lethal Weapon, but you're interested in movies, you're interested in action, you're interested in cop movies, you're interested in comedies, it's definitely worth seeing just to see what came before. You might, like I said, for my friend Callista and Jaws, you might not like it, but hopefully you could see it and appreciate those pillars that it is setting up for all those other movies to build off of.
Every other, like you don't have Rush Hour. You don't have Jackie Chan,
right?
Chris Tucker telling jokes and kicking ass if you don't have a Lethal Weapon.
Right.
Like, and you could say that for any of the buddy cop movies. Like, you all have to look at that movie and borrow from it just as much as you're trying to be different from it.
Yeah, I agree.
Every time. And I think that's always interesting when you have a paradigm movie that completely changes the blueprint or sets the blueprint or remints the blueprint. Because like I said, what they're doing in this movie isn't new. Film noir have been doing it forever, but bringing the comedy to it and like, I don't know, reminting it to be this, I think is where it sets its mark.
I love it. Check it out.
That was fun. The next time we get to do this, man, we'll be in person.
I'm very excited about that. I've been telling everyone that's like Roomie's coming. It's
gonna be good, man.
We get to do it we haven't done it in person in a while, and I realized that last week. We haven't been able to record something next to each other. Remember, we used to record like regular episodes together, at one of our tables.
Oh, they were so good. Yeah,
like the good old days.
The good old days. They were so good too. Good episodes. I think we're going to have some good episodes again. But while we're at Comic-Con, come and see us. Like I said, we have 2 panels. I'm so excited for this. July 20th, that's the Thursday at 8 p.m. in room 25 ABC. We will be doing Ghostface's Killer Trivia with prizes and all sorts of crazy stuff. That one's going to be amazing. And then Saturday night at 7:30 p.m., room 29 CD are Nothing Tops Dinosaurs Attacks cards, where we will be dissecting these gnarly trading cards from that era, featuring a real paleontologist who has named dinosaurs. So super excited about all of that.
God, that's going to be so cool.
I know. It's gonna be so cool.
Greg Goldstein, who is a panelist on that panel, told me when I told him about the paleontologist and some of the stuff that we were going to do, he was like, I kind of just want to watch this panel. I don't want to sit on it. I just want to watch it. And I was like,
late.
that's
You
like the best thing a panelist could tell you, right? Is like, I would watch this. I would do this.
I mean, I'm looking at all the panels that are coming up, and some of them are very exciting. There's a lot of bullshit, dude. Sorry, San Diego Comic-Con. I know there's a lot you have to sift through, but guarantee you these are going to be golden, because it's our first live show of the Launchpad podcast, and it's, you know, at the big show. So why not make it possible? I'm excited.
Yeah. We're very excited. We hope to see you guys there. Come up, say hi to us if you see us around. Definitely come to those panels and come up to us at the panels. Let us know you're a listener. We love to meet fans. We love to see you guys. So let us know.
Yes, absolutely. Rumi, let's blast this thing off. Dude, we're going to get to do that in person.
I was just going to say, the next time we do this, we're going to touch hands.
Oh. It was so good, dude. Oh, we're the Rocketeers, and we are out. Oh, yeah, social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at LaunchpadPod, on our website, launchpadpod.com. You know the deal. I had to get that in there just before we signed off. But like I said, we are the Rocketeers, and we are out.
Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.